everyone. I hope you're having a great time and learning a lot from our incredible guests. Now, I would like to ask Giusy Bettone to come in. Hi, Giusy. How are you today?
Looking forward to start this amazing conversation. Thanks for inviting us.
Thanks for accepting our invitation. So, I briefly introduce you. Giusy created C.l.a.s.s, Creativity, Lifestyle, and Sustainable Synergy. Her mission was to change the perception of sustainable fashion and create an international forum for textiles, fashion, lifestyle, and home design. But I don't want to anticipate much. I'm here to thank Giusy and Camilla for the collaboration. They put together a very interesting panel with 4 international speakers and for international professionals. Now, the stage is yours. I leave it up to you, and we see again at the end of this incredible roundtable. See you later.
Thank you. Can I share my screen and the presentation? Okay. So, second. Sorry, there are some, there is some, so can I use the share video file? Or I think it's share screen. This computer for the share audio, share screen. But I need, here it is. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Hope so.
Here we are.
Okay, so thank you. So really pleased to be here today. My name is Giusy Bettoni, and as already anticipated, I'm running C.l.a.s.s, this eco hub that started in 2007, and which objective is really to activate the whole supply chain about fashion with sustainability, with responsibility. So starting from design, innovation, and responsibility. And really pleased today to be here to talk about a very engaging, I think, argument that is taking nature to the next level to activate smart values. And really pleased to be here with really amazing friends, colleagues, and speakers. So really welcome to Gianni Tortis, Manuel Subirats, Elisabetta Baronio, and Amit Gautam. And just a few slides, because we talk about sustainability, but we are always, very interested to share what is sustainability also very quickly. We have a 3-sentence that we like to share with everybody. So sustainability in the more conventional way is the goal, but really important, that must be reached through a long and constant journey. And sustainable development meets the needs of the present, and it should be without compromising future generation. But it's also, and for me, this has been a very, important milestone. There is no innovation without sustainability. It takes the concept of innovation, in the integration of sustainability or vice versa. But, one is pushing the other. And there is no sustainability without measuring its environmental and ethical impact. Sustainability of product and process only exists if properly traced and measured. And these 3, let's say, statement are leading us into what we call the 4-dimensional approach of C.l.a.s.s that is based also on circular economy, where we think that we can reach sustainability only if we integrate 4 dimensions, the dimension of design, if it's not nice, if it's not style, and also we look at design as the main and larger objective of circular economy, where everything starts with the design. Innovation, where innovation is about making new materials or processes, based anyway on responsible values, but also we have integrated the new business model that are so important, like the vintage, second-hand, rent, swap, and more like this. Sustainability, sustainability where we think at in a holistic way, where we look at the company before of the product, because it's the company that can include a strategic approach on how to produce and how to make things and how to respect human being and respect environment, where environment it's about earth, but also oceans and animals. And last but not least, if we have advanced the concept of design, innovation, and sustainability, we need to advance the communication. So we need to align the storytelling with the story making, because if we do good story making, we need to have a good storytelling. But storytelling without story making, it's sometimes just greenwashing. So having said that, this is our look at the sustainability, where as I was mentioning and anticipating, we are looking at the company, we are looking at the product, and we are looking also, it's just at the bottom, but it's something that it's important when you want to communicate a value. You have not just to say I'm sustainable or I'm using a material, but you need to measure it and to have a third party that is stating for it. So, but let's go back, to today's session. We say take the natural to the next level. So, generally speaking, we think that natural fiber or natural in general are obtained from materials that are existing in nature and transformed in a mechanical process that is not going to change anything. It could be animal or plant origin. And the first category include the wool, silk, and leather, while the second is including cotton, linen, and hemp. But what for C.l.a.s.s is making natural category special is that we are not just looking at the material itself, but we look at this with the holistic lens that we use for the sustainable values, as just mentioned. So we are looking about the company that is doing it, the traceability of the material, the transparency, how people has made it, who has made it, and the impacts that this production is having on ethical or environment. We talk about water, energy, chemicals, CO2. It's not enough just to say natural. Last but not least, we are looking, also at something that we love at C.l.a.s.s. We love to innovate in a responsible way, but we want innovation. And today, we are, very ready, to go to this level and to show you which are, the possibilities that we have, thanks to the great case history that, are there, thanks to our amazing speakers. And I will start immediately, and I will interrupt my screen to let the possibility to, to Giannis. Ciao, Giannis. Giannis Tortiz, that is Sale and Public Relation Manager at C.l.a.s.s and Supreme Green Cotton. I like to, to start the conversation about these amazing, innovation, responsible innovation, and the fact that Giannis is at the foot of Mount Olympus, basically, with taking a visionary innovation that is transforming the way to make cotton, because that's the reality, even if we are talking about one of the oldest fiber, known in the world, but we have a big innovation. So Spinner C.l.a.s.s has created Supreme Green Cotton, which is made in green, water-saving, GMO-free, 100% traceable, amazing quality. But I do not want really to talk too much. Giannis, can you share with us what is this Supreme Green Cotton, first of all, and why you did it? What the need behind it?
Of course. Ciao, Giussi. Ciao, everybody. First of all, thank you very much for providing us this opportunity to discuss such great issues and participate in the amazing powwow virtual event. And at this point, I would like to also share my screen. Okay. I think that
The thriller of sharing the screen.
now we got it,
Yeah.
right?
Can you put maybe in full screen?
Yes, this is what I'm trying to do.
Thank you.
Okay. So, what is supreme green cotton? These kind of really short questions that we can reply to by speaking for, I don't know, a lot of hours, but I'll try to keep it short and simple. So, supreme green cotton is a smart system of solutions, but it's actually not moving.
We are changing the colors.
No, it's not working. But anyway, we will continue without it. Okay.
Here it is.
So it is a smart system of solutions that we created for the whole textile production and supply chain. And it was created in order to equally address the three main pillars of sustainability, which, as we know, are, of course, the environmental, the pillar of social equitability and ethical, and, of course, the pillar of economic viability, which is also the one that most people are forgetting to address. So it is a chain of values, and it is based on trust and partnership, quality and responsibility, by utilizing science and cutting edge technology, leading to a holistic approach, starting from the non-genetically modified supreme green cotton seeds up to the high quality premium end products. So all of this is actually performed 100% in the EU under the umbrella of complete transparency and traceability. And then to move on to the second part of the question, which was why we actually did it. Well, first of all, we did it because as pioneers, innovation and responsible innovation, as you very correctly said earlier, is running in our veins. And having a high sense of responsibility, we this urges us, to act, to be proactive, and not, just watch and react, wait and react. So there are many great initiatives out there. However, as spinners, we always felt that something somewhere was missing. And being, the connecting link between the cotton production and the rest of the production processes, the rest of the production steps up to the end product. When we realized these gaps, instead of accepting some discounts in our standards and requirements, we chose the challenging path of creating something from scratch, creating the Supreme Green Cotton System of Solutions. And after a lot of research, education, trial and error, investments, time and efforts, and of course, with the help of our valuable partners in the production and supply chain, and also research institutes, agronomists, scientists, implementation and certification bodies, and of course, C.l.a.s.s, with who we all share the same values, mentality, and passion. We managed to create the innovative Supreme Green Cotton Smart System. Juicy?
Yes, it's not moving. So
No.
can you share with us the key points of the Supreme Green Cotton? So
Of
you talk
course.
about innovation, you talk about ethical, I do not want to disclose all these things at once.
Of course. Of course. So, yeah, my presentation is acting a little bit up.
Maybe you can summarize it for us because you know
Yeah,
very well
of course, of course.
the story.
So, we are moving with, let's say, with one leg into tradition and heritage that we have at Varvaresos, because this, of course, translates, to experience, knowledge, and know-how. However, we consider equally important to combine it with next generation tools, smart tools, cutting edge technology, and science in order to achieve the best possible outcome. And this is exactly what we are doing. So, starting from the carefully controlled, non-genetically modified seeds, which are planted, as you said, in the foot of Mount Olympus, which is, according to the Greek mythology, always the mountain of the gods. It is planted in Greek family farms and cultivated via environmentally friendly practices and smart precision farming via specialized drip irrigation systems and soil analysis. We have a team of dedicated agronomists and atmospheric meteorological stations. And this is this smart precision farming is then combined with integrated pest management systems, crop rotations, minimal tillage, and many, many more. Then from the Greek family farms, we move just about 5 to 10 kilometers where our ginning partners are, where we are doing a separate careful ginning in order to extract the long staple fibers of our white gold, as we call it. And then we spin these fibers to our state-of-the-art facilities premises in Nausa, in Greece. And these production steps, so from the cotton field, from the cotton seed up to the yarn, we have only 193 kilometers of total transportation, which is, of course, drastically reducing the CO2 footprint. And, of course, this is reinforced by the fact that the whole production and supply chain stays within the EU. So, but
Gianni,
all of
if I
this,
can summarize, sorry if I interrupt, but we have some, unfortunately, the time is really terrible.
yes,
But if I can summarize, we have a very high quality cotton, completely traceable, that is GMO free completely. And basically, there is the drip irrigation that is allowing, in a technical way, because this drip irrigation is coming from an Israeli technology in order to safeguard water. And each of your farmers that are all based in 200 maximum kilometers at the Mount Olympus, they know each morning how much water if they need to put water in the field, basically.
Of course, there are things that are we think that they are quite simple, but they are not being performed. So this is why we created this project, to create added value and support each and every single production step process with next generation tools. And as you correctly mentioned, all of this would mean nothing without it being completely transparent and traceable. And that is why we utilize the power of blockchain in our platform, to describe the path of our partners' chains and all of the stakeholders that are involved. And not just that, but we also imprint via QR code the way from the cotton seed to the end product, that the end consumer can simply, scan with their smartphones and see everything on a completely transparent way.
And just to finalize, can you share with us who is already using it? Because I know that it has been very successful along all the supply chain, so that we can close with, you can find it here.
Of course. So we made sure to cover a large array of applications and end uses, from raw white and dyed yarns to responsibly produced knitted and woven fabrics, and also ready-made garments and products, high quality creations that are produced on a conscious way. And there are also several brands that adopted Supreme Green Cotton, with the latest adoption that was recently announced by the leading Italian brand Diesel.
And that's great, because it's nice to have smart innovation, but it's really important to share this smart innovation to make a new wardrobe, I think, Giannis. So thank you very much. And after the fiber, we go to another important point when we talk about natural, but we took it to the next level. We talk about Green Dyes Research Lab, a research laboratory specialized in natural, sustainable, and easy to implement solution for sustainable dyeing using only natural elements and generating zero pollution, vegetable dyes and quantum physics. Manel Subirats, founder and general manager of Green Dyes, specialist in quantum chemistry, applies to sustainability and natural solution for textile. You look like a magician, Manel, but it's about really a new perspective. So who is Green Dyes and why? How did you create it?
Well, hi all. It's nice to meet you here, and thank you for the opportunity to explain what is Green Dyes. Green Dyes, in fact, is a research lab on natural dyes, but is also a brand of a new process of dyeing, with not only with natural dyes, but also with different kind of dye stuff. But the fact is that it's a completely new process. It's nothing has nothing in common with the normal process of dyeing. I will share my presentation so I can explain more easily. Okay. Can you see the presentation? Okay. Green Dyes was born just 7 years ago. We started with research, and now is part of the Nextil Group, one of the biggest textile groups in Europe, with facilities in USA, in Central America, and in Europe, Portugal and Spain. And the main question is why natural dyes have never been used in the textile industry. And the answer is because the quantity of raw material you need is very high, normally 3 times the weight of the yarn or of the fabric. And it uses a lot of water also, normally 100 liters of water for every kilo of garment. And this water needs to be heated to 90 degrees during time of 24 to 48 hours. So this means a lot of energy. And even more, classical ways of dyeing with naturals, the pigments, the colors are from natural origin, but the process is toxic, is a chemical process. And even more, the color fastness for the industry are very low. So what this means is that the known natural dye process are not efficient enough. And this is the question. This is why we started to do research to improve these qualities. At this moment, show next one. Okay. We can say that our process of dyeing is the most sustainable technique that fashion industry has ever seen, and that we have reached the highest levels of efficiency. And this means that first of all, we have maximum color fastness. Normally we have 4 to 5 to washing, to perspiration, acid and alkaline, and also to sunlight. This is a very important thing, but it's not the only thing, because we believe that it's not enough to work with natural pigments, natural colors. All the process must be done with natural raw materials, not artificial materials. And even more, we have improved the whole process, so we are saving a lot of water and a lot of energy. In fact, we are saving more than 80% of water, and we have improved the process of dyeing to just 1 hour. Normally for dyeing, you need, for a chemical dye, you need 7-8 hours, and to heat the water to 130 degrees. We do it in just 1 hour, the whole process. This means that the dyeing process is just a few seconds, normally between 5 seconds and 20 seconds. And we do not heat the water. So we are saving a lot of energy, because less time and no need to heat means saving of energy. But this is, I want to explain more in more detail. In the table at the left, you can see what is called the environmental impact measurement. That takes into account the water impact, the energy impact, the chemical impact, and also the impact on the worker. Normally for a chemical dye, this value is between 60, 70, and we have a value of 16, and can be even less. And in the table on the right, you can see the comparison between the green dyes process and the chemical dyeing process. You can see there is the temperature, the time consumption, water consumption, and energy consumption. And at the top right, in the green cells, you can see we have an energy saving of 75% and a water savings of 95% and a time saving of 76%. Not only this, because our process only uses natural raw materials, we can filter all the water and use it again and again. And this also means that the analysis of third parties shows that there are no any allergenic material in the dyings or in the garments, no carcinogens, no heavy metals, no formaldehyde, nothing of nothing of nothing. So this is what we call exactly a sustainable process, because we are using raw materials, but at the same time we are saving a lot of water, a lot of energy, and we have any toxic product in our garments and our fabrics. So how we do this? As Joseph said, it's a process based on quantum chemistry, nothing in common with the classical chemical processes. We have created a new material, metamaterial, that in fact doesn't exist in nature, but is made with natural raw materials. These materials are put together, and in fact, we will create some conditions that only happens in the universe, like complete vacuum, like high temperature, like ultraviolet radiation, and even the absence of gravity. And this is the way we achieve a new material that has very special properties. One of the properties is its ability to dissolve in water and to carry inside the molecule of color, of pigment. And this way, this molecule, you can see here a simple, basic picture of how this molecule is. Inside this molecule is the color pigment, and when this molecule arrives to the surface of a fabric, of a garment, it liberates the color that becomes linked to the fabric. And this is a complex process, but it's very easy to apply. And this molecule is completely surrounded of water, of molecules, small molecules of water, creating what we call a water sphere, a ball of water. And you can see here in the next picture how this appears. You have in this picture, I don't know if you can see. Can you see? Yes.
Yeah.
And to the left, this is one of the spheres of water with a lot of these metamaterials, molecules, small molecules of metamaterials created in grain dyes, and it's completely surrounded with water. And when this ball of water touches the fabric, the garment, the surface, the molecule of cellulose, it prefers to liberate the water, so the pigment becomes bonded, linked to the fabric, and this is the way we do the dyeing. And you can see in the next picture, this is how these small molecules of these small water spheres arrange in the surface of the fabric. You can see that this is a very homogeneous layer, and a very big homogeneity means that also the color will be very homogeneous. And this is, in a few words, what we do in dyes, and this new process of dyeing. And this is the palette we have at the present moment. Is more or less 100 colors. We have not all the colors of the Pantone, but this has a reason. When we choose pigment, it must accomplish a series of conditions. First of all, the pigment must give maximum color fastness, not only to washing, also to perspiration, also to sunlight. We sometimes find pigments that are good for washing, that has good color fastness for washing, but not to sunlight, or to the contrary. And second, if this pigment gives maximum color fastness to all the parameters, we need to do the complete traceability, because some of these pigments can proceed from around the world, And we need to know that in the process of extraction of these pigments, we are not making any injury to the environment and not also to people working. So we need the complete certifications of safety in the environment and also in social labor. And the third point is the cost. There are a lot of beautiful pigments around the world, but some of them are very expensive, and the textile industry has not the possibility to pay for this cost. So this is the third condition. And the fourth condition is that even that we know we made all the traceability of the pigments. When the pigments arrive to our laboratory, we make a chemical study to one part to 1 million to know exactly that it has not any trace of contamination from other raw materials. And finally, we need reliability, because some of the pigments can be very beautiful and good cost, and we can make complete traceability. But if we have not enough quantity of these pigments to offer to our customers, then we cannot use it. Well, I think this is all.
Thank you so much,
pictures
Manel. I believe you took us into a new world of dyeing, you know. First the
yes,
fiber, now the dyeing. It's completely different. We have been looking at natural dyeing for a long time, but do not trust them, as you were saying, because of the color fastness and efficiency and industrial. And now you are coming back saying it's possible, and it's possible, adding a new dimension in terms of innovation, really completely out of the blue, looking at conventional, let's say, science, but really measurable. And I think you already start your journey into the market. So if we can close maybe one feedback about the market introduction, because I think it's important.
Yes, we are sharing this information around the world, and in fact, we are receiving every day proposals of different brands worldwide that want to start working with these pigments. And at this moment, we have clients, different brands, important brands, very big brands around the world. Normally of premium fashion, most of them in Italy, and also athleisure, not fast fashion, because I think this is oxymoron. This is something that has no sense.
I think there is a lot of NDA around these kind of things at the moment, so I do not want to push too much. So thanks a lot, Manel. And we have seen the cotton, we have seen the dyeing, the new way to dye. And now let's have a look at natural from another perspective with Elisabetta Baronio, Sustainability and Responsibility Manager, EMEA Timberland. Elisabetta leads the Timberland Sustainability Project in EMEA. And today she's sharing with us the strategy, of Timberland, and I think also of the group, I have to say, about regenerative agriculture. Everybody's talking about regenerative agriculture. That is basically a conservation and rehabilitation approach to farming and grazing systems. It focuses on topsoil regeneration, increasing biodiversity, improving the water cycle, enhancing ecosystem services, supporting biosequestration, increasing resilience to climate change, all things that are going back to the memory on how to treat our land, if I have to say quickly. But will be great to hear, why Timberland and regenerative agriculture, and what is going on, Elisabetta.
Absolutely. Above all, thank you very much, Giusy, for inviting us. We're always really happy to share what we believe is important. And for us, regenerative agriculture is really about, I would say, about hope for the future. So, you probably know the brand, like also the audience knows the brand. Timberland has always been built on sustainability. We have more than 3 decades working on sustainable products, trying to minimize the impact that we have on the environment. However, throughout this process, and also throughout really an attention to data and to the impact, we realized that just doing less bad was not enough anymore. We had to do more. We are really in a situation, I would say, our planet, generally speaking, is in a degraded state. And we as a brand thought that it was not enough anymore just to try to do a little bit better or less bad compared to what we were doing in the past. And that's how we came to our 2030 vision. So last September, we announced our aim that by 2030, Timberland will have a net positive impact on the planet. And when we talk about net positivity, it's really about the amount of carbon that we are able to sequestrate into the ground. And we know that we need to act upon 2 different routes, I would say. The first one is around circularity. We really need to minimize the impacts and the waste that we create, and we need to make our processes more and more efficient, also based on the new technologies that are arising. But the second aspect that really help us to play into this net positive space is regenerative agriculture. We know that around 43% of our environmental impact, of our climate impact, actually comes from the choice of the raw material. And as Timberland, we are a heavy spender, I would say, when it comes to natural materials. Those are the materials we use the most, and we know that we need to find solutions that are in harmony with the environment. And that's why around, it was 6 years ago, we started to work on this concept of regenerative agriculture, that, as you rightly say, it's a way of handling the land and grazing the cattle that is in harmony with the nature, but it's also mimicking the way in which nature works normally. And we really started to see and started to work on the ground with the farmers, and seeing that data were showing us that by using these practices, the land was regenerating itself, and more carbon was pulled into the soil rather than what was emitted throughout the production process. And thanks also to the work that we did with our parent company, that is VF Corporation, around science-based targets, we modeled all the impacts that all the different materials would have had. And we tried to work understanding which kind of material would have led us to reach this science-based target, ensuring that as a brand we stay within the Paris Agreement. And regenerative agriculture is actually the answer. Is the answer because we know that by switching more and more lands and more farmers to this type of practices, we really can have a carbon drawdown. So we can ensure that climate change is fought through the way in which we manage the land. So for us, regenerative agriculture is really a statement. We committed for 100% of our natural materials to come from regenerative agriculture by 2030. And this is a huge one, because we are creating completely new supply chain from scratch currently, and we are doing it for all our natural materials. We started back 6 years ago with leather. We now have leather into the assortment that comes from regenerative farming, and we are building up the roadmap to ensure that we get to this 100%, also involving more and more farmers. So right now we have around a pool of 100 farmers that use regenerative practices that are supplying the hides to us to then be used into the products. But then we are moving into cotton, where we are harvesting the cotton that is in transition to regenerative organic practices. And we are also moving into rubber, wool, and sugarcane. And for rubber, I'm extremely proud because the other week we announced as Timberland the first project worldwide to get regenerative rubber and to create the supply chain as regenerative rubber. So we have a lot of things going on. It's a really exciting moment, but it's really about making a statement to the industry, saying that things can be done in a different way. It takes time, it takes energy, and it takes a lot of commitment, but there is an opportunity for the fashion industry to really do more good than what we cause.
This is amazing, Elizabeth. They look like a statement of the next millennium, but it's already happening because I know that you already launched some products at consumer level into your store that is done, especially the boots, I think, with this regenerative agriculture approach. So it's happening.
It's already happening, and that's the good thing because we start to seeing the results of quite a good amount of work, I would say. We had the first products into the fall winter 20 line, so the line that is now just ended, and we have other products into this spring summer, and we are really increasing the number season by season. And I just had the numbers for spring summer 22, of course, that is already in the making into the company, and we are really increasing the amount of products and the amount of SKUs that we will be offering to the consumer using regenerative leather, and adding as well, starting from this fall winter, also cotton from regenerative farming.
And last but not least, how you communicate to the consumer and which has been the feedback. Really, 2 minutes about this because we are already in this part of the market.
Absolutely. It's a journey. I would say that it's a journey. We are telling the story, of course, and once the consumer has the opportunity to really get to the understanding of what regenerative agriculture is about, they are all in with the concept, and they understand how good this is for the planet and how good this is also for the society as general. It's anyway a journey because it's a really complex program and project, and we need to translate, and we need to kind of be pioneer in this field, telling a story that they might have never heard of, and helping them to kind of understand that the product is the same. We can just use raw materials that are made in a more sustainable way.
Yeah, and I think your numbers about impacts is going to talk, as a music. So thank you very much, Elisabetta. And now let's go to another word, a natural word as well, because Textile Genesis, a pioneering fiber to retail traceability platform enabled by a blockchain for the fashion and textile supply chain. Amit Gautam, CEO and founder of Textile Genesis, and its traceability system that very, very quickly has expanded and become global, has been recognized, people is applying, and Amit has also invented fiber coins. So let's go to the beginning. Blockchain can be confusing. We have touched base with it. Can you explain us a little bit your project, of course, and what blockchain can represent today?
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay, good. So, thanks again for inviting me. This is a great session. It was great hearing the 3 previous speakers, right? So, on the blockchain, indeed, there's a lot of brouhaha. There's a lot of, I would say, at times also exaggeration around blockchain. If I have to explain, there are 3 simple facts about blockchain, what makes it unique and special versus other technologies out there. First, at the very basic level, it's a database. All of you use spreadsheets and Excel sheets to store data, right? Now, but what is special about blockchain as a database is that once you write something on it, you cannot edit it, you cannot modify, you cannot erase it, because that's how it's written. There's a lot of advanced cryptography involved, right? So that's a special about the database, that once you write something, you can't easily edit, modify, and therefore it creates a certain level of trust between the parties to write something using the blockchain as a database. Second, it's a database that naturally connect transactions to each other, because it's called a ledger, like your bank statement. There is an input and there is an output, so you know exactly how your bank balance is going down or going up, right? Because all transactions are connected. So it's a very natural database to use when you look at audit trail, when you look at traceability, because it connect transactions and shipments to each other. That's how it's inbuilt, right? The third, which is more of a conceptual breakthrough, but you can achieve it with or without blockchain, is the idea that whenever you have a physical asset, you can create a digital twin, a digital mirror of that physical asset, a twin, so that when the physical asset is transformed, a fiber into a yarn, yarn into fabric, fabric into garment, those digital twin also gets transformed along the supply chain, creating a digital chain of custody, and you do not need any PDF or paper-based transaction certificates, right? If you look at almost all the standards in textile exchange that are used right now, or sorry, in the textile industry, are all basically PDF and paper-based transaction certificates. And we are saying that, look, you can eliminate all of that. And what we invented is this fiber coin, which is essentially digitization of the physical fiber at the point of origin. So we create a digital twin. Every kg of sustainable fiber like recycled polyester, organic cotton, tencel, ecovero, uh, uh, sustainable cashmere, responsible wool, every sustainable fiber at the point of origin, every kg gets converted into equivalent one fiber coin, right? And when the fiber is transformed into yarn, yarn into a fabric, we have a record of the digital inventory at each step in the supply chain, and those tokens are passed along based on the shipments between suppliers. And then you have a purely digital and a highly secure traceability, and you don't need any of those very cumbersome, complex processes. So yeah, so that's what. So we invented this now in 19, and last year we won this Global Change Award from H&M Foundation and Accenture Technology around this innovation. Yes, Yosi.
Yes, you move from a startup to, a global player.
Yeah.
And,
It happened very quickly.
having a system in 2.5 years, 3 years. So it's really.
We have been actually, to be honest, we started in 19, but we went live only in middle of 19, right? So it's not even 2 years of being actually live. But now we are working with some of the top 10 brands that collectively drive 100 billion plus apparel sales. We're working with 25 sustainable fiber producers like Lenzing in Austria. We are also doing trials with Unify in US in Retrieve. So, nothing to complain. We are seeing very good.
Not at all. And also, it's a great, let's say, service, for people to understand a little bit the transparency around fibers, because, as you know, it's not really something easy. And from your perspective, because you are, an expert, how do you see the transparency value from here in 5 years' time in the industry?
Yes, so I think this is a great point. So I think first I want to make a distinction between traceability and transparency. People sometimes use interchangeably, right? So traceability means you're identifying the flow of goods in the supply chain. So who's making my fiber, who's spinning the fiber, who's making the yarn, grage fabric, the gentleman was talking about natural dye, who's doing my dyeing, right? Who's doing my garment production. So traceability is flow of goods in the supply chain. Transparency means once you have that data, how do you tell that story to consumer, to your investors, to your employees, to all of your stakeholders, right? Now, what is happening is people have no visibility on their supply chain. 95% of the top 100 brands that drive $1 trillion in apparel sales, 95% of them have no visibility beyond tier 2. They have absolutely no clue who's the grage fabric mill, who's the spinner, who's the fiber producer. It's a black box, right? So I think the first big shift that has to happen is to first, for a big part of the industry, their supply chain should become visible, right? So to me, that is already a big shift. If that happens in 5 years, you already moved significantly ahead, because 95% of the industry is walking blind. They just do not know anything beyond tier 1, tier 2. They have absolutely no clue, right? So our objective is at least kind of in that black, in that black box, shed a bit of light and make that tunnel visible. And once it's visible, people understand what's happening in the supply chain. Then the question comes, okay, oh my God, okay, how do I tell the story? Because maybe you don't like what you see. Maybe you don't want to tell the story because it will be scary, right? So we don't even have a conversation on transparency. We said, first figure out what is in your supply chain, right?
And that's, we call it transparency, you know. When the light is on, you can really see.
That is true. Transparency only for your eyes, not for the world. Yeah.
For your eyes only. That's make me think about something really special as well. Yeah. Thank you, Amit. Last but not least, how to apply, how we can participate, how, you know.
Okay, so I think I mean, you mean in class, right?
Class, or the companies that are listening today,
Okay.
you know, that are hearing your story, how to be part of this.
Yes. So I think our basic model is we work with two ends of the supply chain. So we work very closely with sustainable fiber producers and bring them on board continuously to track their sustainable fibers. So we have now close to 25, some of the world's leading recycled polyester players, leading cellulosic players. We just signed a partnership with US Cotton to create traceability for the US cotton fibers globally, right? And US Cotton Trust Protocol, or US Cotton, drives about 15 to 20% of the global cotton supply. So first is that we are very focused on sustainable fibers at the point of origin, work closely with them. And second, we work closely with the brands who want to ensure that they actually receive what they pay for, and they are actually able to verify the supply chain, right? So if you're a sustainable brand and trying to ensure that actually your collections are indeed authentic, are indeed verifiable, that's one target. Another is the sustainable fiber players. And once we have these two ends of the supply chain, we bring all the players in between on board. Yeah.
Okay. And this is really something helpful. So thank you very much.
Sure.
If, you know, I would like to ask 3,000 more questions to each one of you, but I think we reach, and thank, you know, for your effort, because it's not easy sometimes, and also the technology sometimes does not help. If it's possible, I will open up, you know, the possibility for people to ask questions. And in case we are late, you know, even for the question, I would leave to the people in the coordination my email, so that if people does not have the time, they can send it to my email, and I can vehiculate to you. But please, you know, it's open for question now. You cannot see anything and hear anything, so.
Eccomi.
Eccola, Anastasia.
Allora, sì, in realtà siamo un po' stretti coi tempi, come hai detto, quindi sì, io lancerei l'idea di se hanno se avete delle domande, ecco, chi ha seguito il panel ha delle domande interessanti, pertinenti a questo, può scrivere con calma a @classecohub.org.
So just for the speakers, you know, as we have finished more or less the time, you know, Anastasia was telling people if they need to, you know, ask each one of us some question, they will use the Classical Hub email address, and we vehiculate to you. So for me, thanks very much. It has been a great opportunity, Powwow, to have, you know, this vision about how natural is progressed and really gone to the next level from any perspective. And thanks to the speaker, because there is a huge research, there is a huge commitment, there is a huge energy and power at the same time, you know, that needs to be spread into the market and with people starting from Powwow today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anastasia. Thank you to all the coordination behind it.
Thank you very much. Ciao.
Support.
Thank you.
Very much for everyone.
Ciao, ciao.
Grazie.